Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining the process of splitting concave polygon using a rotational method. So if you want to know more about concave polygon and the splitting of concave polygon using a vector method, so you can refer my previous video where the link for that video is given in the description section. So let me start with the explanation of splitting concave polygon using a rotational method. So before understanding the concept of rotational splitting, you need to know what is concave polygon. If you want more detailed explanation regarding a concave polygon, so the link for that video also is in the description section. You can go through that video, right? So here in this video I will give only brief idea related to concave polygon. So if I say concave polygon, you have to consider mainly three conditions here. So a concave polygon has at least one interior angle greater than 180. So any of the interior angle greater than 180, then that polygon is called as concave polygon. You can see here, this is the first case, right? So one of the angle greater than 180, then it is a concave polygon. And the second thing, the extension of some edges of a concave polygon will intersect other edges. So you can see here, so here I extended the edge of the polygon here, this red line. So this is nothing but a extension edge. So this extension edge is interacting with the other edge of the polygon, where I marked the intersection point also, right? So if you extend the edge of the polygon, if it is intersecting with the other edge, then you can call that polygon as a concave polygon, right? So what is the third condition? So here some pair of interior points will produce a line segment that interacts with the polygon boundary. So you can see here I joined the two vertices of the polygon using the diagonal, that is a line segment, where you can see that this diagonal is intersecting with the boundary of the polygon. You can see here, right? So it is intersecting with the boundary of the polygon, this diagonal, this line segment. So if these three conditions holds good, then you can say that the polygon is a concave polygon, right? So right guys, so now why splitting? Why we have to split a concave polygon into convex polygon, right? So mainly because of some complications. What are those complications? You know that every polygon is filled with some color or a pattern, right? You can fill the polygon with the color or a pattern. So if you try to fill the polygon, especially concave polygon, definitely it is a difficult thing, because the implementation of that filling algorithms will be difficult in the concave polygon, and the processing will take more time in concave polygon. That's why what we have to do means, we have to generally going to split a concave polygon into a set of convex polygons before processing. So if you split the concave polygon into convex polygons, definitely your processing will be improved, right? So that's why we need a splitting process. So now here, to split a concave polygon, I'm using a rotational method. So right guys, I'm using a rotational method to split my concave polygon into convex polygon. So this is our example here. I'm going to explain this method using an example, then definitely it will be easy for you to understand the concepts. So this is the example polygon what I am taking here to explain this. Obviously this is a concave polygon, but how to find out that this polygon is a concave polygon? So I will explain that process now. So see here, this polygon has vertices v1, v2, v3, v4. So how many vertices are there here? So there are 4 vertices present in this polygon. Now I will explain the steps to convert or to split my concave polygon into convex polygon. So this is the rotational method I am using. So vector method I explained in the previous video, right? So the first step, what you have to do, see here. So proceeding counterclockwise around the polygon edges shift the position of the polygon so that each vertex vk in turn is at the coordinate origin. Now what is this? It is very simple. So see here, so this is our polygon here. So you can see here the vertices v1, v2, v3, v4 are the coordinates. v1, v2, v3, v4 are not at the v3, v4 are at the origin, but v1 or v2 is not at the origin. You can check. This is our polygon, right? This is my concave polygon. Here you can see there this is the axis. Here you can see here v3, v4, right, are on the axis, but v1 and v2 are not on the axis. So first step, what it tells means you have to shift the position of the right polygon so that vertex should be at the coordinate origin. You can see here I am going to shift v2. My v2 is nothing but vk. Here it is telling that we have to shift the vertex vk, right, that is v2. I am shifting the v2 to the coordinate origin, that is this one. You can see here. So don't worry about these edges, just observe that the v2 is shifted to the origin, right. You can see here v3 is also in the x-axis, v4 is also in the x-axis. Now in the first step what I did, I shifted v2, that is vk, right, in the origin. You can see. So I shifted v2 in the origin. This is the first step. Don't worry about these edges, I will explain in the coming slides, but so far now you have to understood that you have to move the vertex vk. So in our example, which is the vk here, that is v2. Actually it is downwards, right, here, but I have to move this v2 to the origin, right. So that's why I moved this v2, which is downwards, to the origin. You can see here v2 is moved. It was there here somewhere, but it is moved with respect to towards origin, right. So what is the first step? Move v2 to coordinate origin. I moved that. So this is the first step. Don't get confused, right. So just what I have to do means I have to shift the polygon. I have to shift the polygon in such a way that, so I have to shift the vertex vk at the coordinate origin. This is the first step here. So my vk is v2. Now you can ask a question here, sir, you are here, you can observe here v2 is also there, v1 is also there, you are shifting only v2. You can ask a question like that. If I shift v2, you can observe there v2 is having a edge between v1, right. That's why. So if you shift v2, v1 is indirectly v1 will be also shifted to the origin. That's why, right guys. So first step what I have to do, I have to shift the vertex towards the coordinate origin. That is which vertex I have to shift here. According to my example, I have to shift v2. v2 is nothing but vk. I shifted this v2 towards the origin. Don't worry about these edges, I will explain now. This is the first step. What is the second step? So now second step, rotate the polygon about the origin in a clockwise direction so that the next vertex vk plus 1 is on the x-axis. It's very simple. So far you have to know that vk is v2. Now you know that vk plus 1 is what? v3. Here v1 I am not considering, you know that why. So vk is what here? v2. vk plus 1 is v3. Now in the second step what I have to do means I have to rotate my polygon. In which direction? Remember that, in a clockwise direction. But in which way you have to rotate? In such a way that v3, that is vk plus 1, should be in the axis. Let us see now. See. So this is right. This is the before rotation. This is actually first what I did means I rotated the edge between v1 and v2. So v1 and v2, this is edge. You can see the highlighter v1 and v2, it is downwards. You know that you have to rotate which direction? clockwise, that is top to bottom, right? Here I am in the bottom, right? That's why I have to move from bottom to top. But when you start from the top, you have to move towards bottom. But here in the first stage only I am in the bottom, that's why I have to move towards the top. That's why you can see here v2 v1. Now v2 v1 is rotated from downwards. v1 v2, the edge v1 v2 is moved to upwards. Understanding, guys? The rotation is done. The rotation is done. So v2 v1, that is in the downward direction, is moved upwards, right? Now this is not only the edge, right? Another two vertices are there here. There is a edge between v3 and v4. Now I have to rotate that also. Now you can see here, and I rotated the edge between v3 and v4. I am rotated the edge, this edge v3 and v4 also. Now you can ask a question, sir, v4 is anyway it is in the axis. I can rotate upwards also, downwards also, right? You can see. But here I rotated in the downwards direction. Why? In a clockwise, remember, if it is in the bottom, you have to, right? You have to rotate towards top. But here v3 v4, it is in the right top side. That's why I have to rotate downwards. That is very important. Remember, clockwise. That's why top to bottom. Initially clock moves from top to bottom only, right? That's why. So I have to move this edge v3 v4 downwards only. I can't move this edge upwards. That is impossible. If it is anti-clockwise, it is possible, but it is clockwise, right? That's why what I did, I rotated the edge v3 v4 downwards, right, guys? Understood? Now I did two rotations. First I moved the edge between v1 and v2 from downwards to upwards. Next I moved the edge between v3 and v4 from upwards to downwards. But what is the condition here? Remember, and the condition is also you have to remember here. When you are rotating the edge, you have to rotate in such a way that v3, that is vk plus 1 in the x-axis. You know that vk is v2, vk plus 1 is v3. So in the second step there is a condition. You have to rotate the polygon. Yes, that is very right procedure, no problem. But while rotating, you have to understand one thing here. The next vertex vk plus is on the x-axis. When I rotate v3 and v4, I should consider that v3 should be on the x-axis. That is vk plus is 1 is in the x-axis. You can see here v3 is in the x-axis. That's why I rotated downwards, guys. Getting? It is in clockwise direction. Obviously, along with that, I have to justify the condition. When you rotate that, the vk plus 1 should be on the axis. That is v3. vk plus 1 is what? v3. That v3 should be in the axis. Now you can see there v3 is in the axis. So getting, guys? Now the second step is completed. So I will brief quickly. See here. So first step, what I have to do means, so I have to start with the vertices. Now you can ask a question, in what order you have to start the vertices means from v4 to v3, v3 to v2, v2 to v1. Like that you have to check the vertices. While rotating clockwise, but while proceeding we have to proceed from the anti-clockwise. Getting, guys? So that is a simple thing. But here, so what is the first step? So you have to shift the position of the coordinates of each vertex towards the origin. Here, so I shifted v2 because v3 v4 is towards the origin only. v3 v4 are towards the origin only, but here v2 and v1 are not in towards the origin. That's why I shifted v2 to the coordinate origin. Why I shifted v2 means because if you shift v2, along with the v2, v1 will also be indirectly shifted, right? That's why I am shifting only v2 here, not necessary to take a v1. So first what I did, I shifted the vertex v2 here. Now the second step, so shift v2 is shifted towards origin. Don't worry about the edges, I told you, right? So second step, so I have to rotate the polygon now. I shifted the right, I shifted the coordinate, but now I have to rotate the polygon. But while rotating, I have to consider one condition that the vertex vk plus 1 should be on the x-axis. So here what I did means I rotated the edge v1 v2 first. It is in the downwards, but I rotated towards upwards. Getting guys? That is why from bottom to top. Next, another one edge is there, that is v3 v4. It is in the top side. I rotated towards downwards. Now you can ask a question, the condition you have to remember that vk plus 1, why I have to rotate this downwards means vk plus 1 should be in the x-axis. And you can see, you can ask a question that you can rotate upwards also, right? But you have to rotate clockwise. That means clockwise means what? Always remember, if it is top, it should come towards bottom. If it is bottom, it should come towards top. That's why the condition is clockwise, right? That's why I rotated v3 v4 downwards. So 2 steps are completed. Now you know that. So vk. Now what is vk plus 2? What is the third condition here? So the third condition is, if the following vertex, the vk plus 2, is below the x-axis, then split the polygon along the x-axis. Now you know that vk is what? Vk is vertex v2, v3 is what? Vk plus 1, vk plus 2 is nothing but v4 vertex. If according to the third step, if vk plus 2, but my example vk plus 2 is what? V4. If v4 vertex is below the x-axis, v4 is nothing but vk plus 2. Remember that v4 is below the x-axis. What I have to do? Then I have to split the polygon along the x-axis. You can see here. My v4 is below the x-axis. When I rotated the edge between v3 and v4, v3 is in the axis according to the second step. But remember, but what is the third step? If your vk plus 2 here is what? v4. Vk is 2, vk plus 1 is 3, vk plus 2 is v4. If your v4 is below the x-axis, yes, now you can see here my v4 is below the x-axis, vk plus 2 is below the x-axis. Getting guys? Then what we have to do? Then we have to split the polygon along the x-axis. We have to split. So when your vk plus 2 is below the x-axis, I can understand that my polygon is a concave. I have to split this polygon. Now, how you are going to split? You are going to split along the x-axis. That means along the x-axis. See the highlighter. Along the x-axis you have to split. This is one polygon. This is one polygon. This is the first polygon. This is the second polygon. Now I have to split along the x-axis. See here. So this is the first polygon, this is the second polygon. So this first polygon is this one, and this is the second one here. Right guys? So I splitted the polygon. Getting guys? So here I splitted the polygon using rotational method. How many edges I rotated here? 2 edges. v1 v2 I rotated from downwards to upwards, v3 v4 from upwards to downwards, right? And one more important thing you have to remember here, these steps are repeated until all the vertices in the polygon list are tested. Now in our example there were 4 vertices and we tested for all the vertices, right? Suppose if you have some extra vertices like v5 v6, right, so on, so you have to repeat the step, right? We were at excuse me. So you have to repeat the step until all the vertices are finished. You have to repeat the step. Getting guys? So that's it guys. If you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please click the bell icon to get the notifications, and don't forget to like and share.